Welcome back, dude and dudettes, to another wild episode of Send It Mate. We're here to talk about all things hunting and outdoors. And today, we've got something that'll keep your gear running smoother than a dingo's getaway.
That's right. Our show is brought to you by High Caliber, the gun and knife oil company that knows how to keep your firearms and blades in tip-top shape.
High Caliber is like the secret sauce for hunters, anglers, and outdoorsy folk everywhere. It's like the magic potion that makes your gun and knives happier than a dog with two tails.
You know, guys, I've been using High Caliber oil for a while now, and let me tell you, it's the duck's nuts. My rifle practically sings a lullaby when I take it out hunting.
And speaking of lullabies, ever tried sneaking up on a deer with a squeaky gun? It's a prime way to end up with no venison in the freezer. You'll be hungrier than a vegan at a bacon festival.
Absolutely. But with High Caliber oil, your gun will be quieter than a ninja in moonlight. You'll be stalking your prey with the grace and stealth of a mountain lion.
High Caliber doesn't just keep things quiet, it also prevents rust and corrosion, so you won't find your gear looking like it spent a season at the bottom of a creek.
That's right, and for you knife enthusiasts out there, High Caliber has got you covered too. Your trusty blade will slice through anything smoother than butter on a hot biscuit.
So, folks, don't let your gear become a rusty, squeaky mess. Head on over to highcaliber.com.au and grab a bottle of their oil today.
And if you use the code SENDITMATE at checkout, you'll get a special discount. I say again, use the code SENDITMATE for all your oil slick, stealthy hunting needs.
Thanks to High Caliber, you'll be sending it in style and silence.
So, gear up, oil up, and send it, mate. High Caliber, the ultimate oil for the ultimate hunter.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another episode of Send It Mate podcast. I'm Caleb.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Couchy.
And tonight we've got another guest for you. I'm excited.
I'm excited, but I still can't pronounce his Instagram handle right, like Fist. Every time I hear it or see it, I just think Matt introducing it as
Fisting,
Fist.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, we better bring a bit of context to that. Firstly, Brad, how you going, mate?
Yeah, really well. Thanks, guys.
Nice. So we met Brad at the Wild Deer Expo a couple of weeks ago, and he was a good bloke. So we thought, well, he's good for a yarn, so let's get him on and have a chat. We were quite impressed with his business. He's got doing some metal art called Fish, Travel, Feast, Explore. And as Josh was saying, it was a bit of a strange episode that happened when we were being interviewed. And we had Matty Wright sitting with us, and he was on the stand for Fish, Travel, Feast, Explore as well. And we're trying to get it out, and someone said fist instead of feast. So I think that one's not going to.
That was the end of that, wasn't it?
Yeah, you just got to change it now to Fist.
It was good for a laugh.
But yeah, how'd you find the expo all up, Brad? And what have you been up to afterwards?
Yeah, we loved the expo. It was great for us to get our sort of metal art out there a bit, and that was sort of the target market for us. Yeah, so we had a ball there and done really well, and since then we've done really well. So it was great.
So how did that business come about in the first place? Because for those who don't know, you do metal art that's sort of bush and hunting related. Yeah, it's great stuff. So how did that come about?
Yeah, well, I'm a fitter and turner by trade, so metal's sort of my thing. And Carlie, my wife, and myself had explored just to, what can we do on the side, just as a bit of a side hustle, just to try and, put a bit of beer in the fridge, I suppose. That's all it was for. And then we couldn't find anything sambar related. It was all whitetail, a lot of Yankee stuff. And then I thought, well, if we can't buy one, let's make one. So we ended up cutting out that initial sambar head. And it sort of just evolved from there. We threw it on Marketplace and, sold a fair few prior to Christmas, and then we thought, hang on, there's a bit of a market here. So, and then since then it's just evolved. Like that was, I think we started in November, and now it's evolved to, I think we've got 12 pieces in the collection now, and it's really ticking over. So it's been great.
Sweet. So this is a pretty fresh adventure for you guys.
Yeah, really fresh. We explored a few different things online and just, what other people were doing. And we had a bit of a look at that, and a lot of it just wasn't really for us. So this is a path we've gone down, and we're loving it because we're so passionate about the hunting side. Like, grew up just hunting my whole life, and just the passion in putting a bit back into what you love and enjoy. It's great.
For sure. Well, we're definitely all about supporting Aussie businesses, and it's always great when they're sort of hunting, fishing, and outdoor related. So yeah.
How do you make them? Just CNC on a CAD file or something like that?
Yeah. So just sort of, we've had a few designs. Just you find what you can, bits and pieces. Come up with a bit of a plan in your head. How you want it to look. Like that dog on point one was just that's what the hunters are doing. A lot of them are hunting with dogs now, and they're to have their dog on point. Like that's the moment. That's the moment for them in the bush, and that's what they love to do. And I thought, all right, I had a few mates with like Maddie and those guys with the pointers, and I thought, all right, let's produce one. Let's have a old hunter standing back there, rifle over his shoulder, pot guts hanging out, bloody dog on point, and a big sambar stag looking at him, which people say, oh, he should be pointing the gun at the deer. But I bet you there's a lot of blokes that have never pointed the rifle at the deer, and he's ran off. So, so that just sort of evolves. Now we put on CAD and then tweak it a bit. And then at present, we've got a young bloke we used to have as a school-based kid with my work, got his own machine at home. So we've sort of employed him to cut them for us at the moment. So we're trying to keep it all local and keep, use really good quality products. And so it's helping him out as well, which is even better.
So what sort of other designs do you guys have, like just to sort of paint a picture for the listeners?
Yeah, so we've got, we did a Mansfield, obviously the Mansfield market up here, the high country, Snowy River country. We did a high country hut one there with a few horses and bits and pieces. And we've done drove-in cattle to the windmill sort of a setup. Yeah, we've done a couple of red deer ones and we've done a dog on point. I think that's in 3 versions now because the guys wanted a English pointer and then they wanted the wirehead. So there's a couple of versions of that one, and just working on a couple of new ones at the moment as well. So yeah.
Nice. I like it a lot because it bridges a gap between, I guess, man cave artwork to if your missus isn't pro hunting or sort of, following in your footsteps, you can put it in your lounge room and get away with it. It's about your sport, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet you there's heaps of dudes out there that are like, I can't put anything up because your missus is like, no.
Yeah, I'm the same. I even said to Carlie, I said, let's put one on the front of the house there with a welcome on. Just, it'd look good in the shed. And I just held one up before, up against the wall there near the heater, and I said, what do you think of this dog on point one up here? And she goes, oh yeah, yep. Yeah, it's not up there yet. There's a fair few hanging in the shed. The shed's pretty cool, pretty decked out. So yeah, it's good.
So you, like, looking on your socials and all that, you're a pretty big fisherman.
Yeah.
With your designs, there's no fishing ones that I've noticed.
Nah, it's just been really there. We will do some fishing ones.
Yep.
We will do some fly fishing one. I've got a design coming up with Murray cod taking a surface, like taking something off the surface. So that's under progress in the moment. But just with the shows coming up and trying to get designs for the big hunting expo on that, it just hasn't got to that yet. But yeah, big plans moving forward. So
sweet.
Yeah,
very nice.
Cool. Well, how'd you find the Wild Deer Expo in all? Because it was good. I think for everyone who's into hunting and the outdoors and deer, like just to be in the one place and get around everyone to sort of meet up, because it's been a while since the last show. And this one's been delayed a fair bit as well. So how'd you find it all up?
It was great. I think during COVID, people, everyone complained about being bunkered in and all that. But I think for the hunters, just to see how many hunters are out there, and I think there might have been over 8,000, I think, through the gates in the 2 days, and an amazing venue down there. I thought the venue was great. And just the people we chatted to, just some great people. Yeah, really good. And I think, that venue is obviously designed for those sort of shows, but I thought it was great.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be cool to see the evolution over the next few years, it progressively getting bigger as well. More stands, more, attractions, things like that.
Yeah, I think it's got room to even grow. I think possibly from COVID, there was a few not there that you would expect there, some of the bigger ones. And I think if we get back to having it annually, I think it'll just grow.
Yeah.
100%. Now, you mentioned that you were up in the Mansfield area. So that's probably a good bridge into the first question of our formatted questions, Brad. We'll get into them. Where are you from? Have you always been up there in the northeast Vic area? Yeah,
so hailed from a fine wool merino farm and cattle farm, beef farm, at a little place called Swampool between Benalla and Mansfield. So it's sort of nestled in there, and we had 780 acres growing up there, and it's a bit smaller now. The parents are still on the property, but and it's backs onto the bush as well, which we used to shoot a lot of foxes there. We're kids. We obviously had a couple of thousand sheep, and always keeping the fox numbers down, but no deer back then in the days. We used to light it up a lot, foxes, but you'd never see a deer. But now you'd go out there and be nothing to see. You'd see a sambar every night.
Huh. Yeah.
So that's how much the numbers of really noticing numbers evolving over time.
It's pretty crazy to sort of hear that, because you sort of expect it to be just full of deer constantly.
Yeah.
Like at least in the past 10, 20 years as well. So
yeah, so probably shows how old I'm getting, I suppose. But when I was, that's right, 20 years ago, not nowhere near as many deer as there is now. Like the numbers it's mind-boggling, the numbers. In saying that, like today, you can still go out and not see a deer, but the numbers are there.
Does your folks sort of find any pressure for feed with the deer hanging about?
You sort of don't notice as much, but you just, the rub trees, just tell all, that you go in and you say, oh, there's not many deer around, and then all the cherry trees are rubbed, and then, you look down the creek and there's a bloody wallows appeared down the creek, and, a lot of the cockies don't realise what's lurking in their paddocks at night, because most of their feeding is after dark, so fully nocturnal. So you just, for a farmer, they wouldn't know there's 50 fallow deer in their paddock at night, and
Okay.
What do you think they've become more abundant? Because surely you're still getting like the government culling programs and things there, and obviously hunters' pressure. So why are the numbers boosting, you think?
Oh, I think the fact that they don't run the dogs, well, they don't run the hounds too close to a lot of the farmland, which is becoming more prolific now with the hounds. They are doing it more, and they shouldn't. But and the culling, they're keeping the culling away a little bit from our area at the moment, or it's more back in the higher country, so that the pressure's really not there.
Mm-hmm.
So they just do it easy, like they breed so well, and they just bed down. They're living more out now in the paddock, like in the creeks, in the blackberries. You wouldn't even know. They're not even going back to the bush now. They're living out in those blackberries, and you wouldn't know they're even there.
Yeah, bloody hell. Meanwhile, we're in like bracken and shit trying to find them and can't.
yeah. But I had some the other morning, just little strip of bush, and heaps of blackberry. But no bush as such, just a few gum trees, but open. But blackberry, and I had some feed back in towards me. I thought, beauty, this is an easy one for the freezer here. And they just went in the blackberries, never to be seen again. Bedded in there, and that's what they do. They just ride on daylight, they'll bed in the blackberries, and they'll lay there all day until dark, and then they'll come out again. So not even going back to the bush now, which is some of them, which is really blown me away. I've been chasing around for 30 years, but you just see, you're always learning,
So how do you hunt them now if their behaviour's changed? Like, what's your typical game plan when you go out on a hunt?
Well, I do a lot of early mornings now because you beat the kids out of bed, and that's always a winner, I reckon. Get out of the house. But yeah, I try and hunt early, really early, and you know that they often push back in, but get back in the bush a bit prior to the daylight to a couple of, the better heads, the better gullies. And I do a lot of sitting now, so and I find that really successful.
Yeah,
except for today. But that works well, and evenings are fine. But if you tend to, you'll catch them coming out of an evening that you'll shoot one, and if you don't get a clean shot, even if you get a clean shot on a big sambar, they still run, as you know, and it's just a big job. Like, you got to try and track it in the dark and find it, and then try and cut it up in the dark. Like, it's a big job, I reckon, that the evening hunts. So in the morning, you got a heap of time up your sleeve if you do shoot one to sort it all out. So I sort of lean towards mornings, but mix it up a bit.
There's always moments where you go on a hunt and you know you're heading back, just say that day, but you still go out for a hunt in the morning, and you're like, do I actually want to shoot a deer right now? Just knowing the work that's involved, and you still got to head home. So, especially for us when we're traveling like 12 hours across the state. So,
yeah. No, we've all done it. Back in the middle of nowhere and bloody shoot one, and then you got a stag laying at your feet, and you're about 2 kilometres from the car, and it's dark, and your torch batteries are going, and you wonder why you even did it.
Yeah,
I think that's why. Yeah, the morning hunts are better, and I think not just from a practical standpoint. There's something like magical and a bit mystical about that pre-dawn. You're out there, and then you see the sunrise. It just sort of adds to the whole experience. Somehow, it's
a good way to start the day.
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's a really good way to start the day. And most people are in bed, and you're up there just poking about the bush. And we've got some lovely places to hunt here too. You know, you're in the pretty prime sambar country. So no, it's kept. I sort of stuck at it. You know, I've just stuck at it for years, and started with probably some of the better sambar hunters, better renowned sambar hunters around, and learned a lot of stuff from those guys, and then sort of just kept going with it.
So what's is your hunting mostly public or private land?
It's a bit of a mixture. So I do a bit from home. I sort of got a bit of private stuff I hunt on now. So yeah, I've got a few private blocks, but I think a lot of guys sort of don't really know what they're doing. So they don't, as much as you think they're putting pressure on them, they don't really make a major impact unless they have a lot of luck. So I sort of, you still do pretty well in the public. We got a lot of public stuff here.
Yep.
Whereas you guys over there might struggle a bit more with the public side of it.
Yeah, it's not existent.
It's not existent.
None. There's none. There's none unless you're a poacher.
Yeah.
I have had a little dabble over there years ago. So yeah.
Did you come up with anything?
I was actually hunted over there on. It's one of the properties, I suppose. Obviously, Mr. Brinkworth owns a lot of the land over there now, but it was actually a private block on beside that which he's bought since then. But yeah, it's a bit of a private block there, which shot not a bad fellow back there, and I shot a red deer which wasn't no monster by any stretch, but yeah. But it was enjoyable hunting because it was so different to here.
Yeah, it's flat.
You know.
So many Victorians have said that. They're like, oh, man, it's like a Sunday stroll, walk in the park or something compared to Vic. I'm like, yeah, it's not bad.
You can see it.
Yeah. That was all right. The flatland, I like the flatlands.
See, we're the opposite. We hate flatland here. We're like, oh, give us some hills and some crevices and yeah.
Problem with
Speak for yourself, mate. I like the flat.
Yeah.
The problem with flatland is you see them 2 Ks away, and then by the time you get over to them, they're gone.
Yeah, I must admit that did happen over there. Yeah,
So that's the only downfall I see.
yeah.
All right, Brad, let's roll into the feast portion of this discussion and find out from you, what's your favourite food? Is it something your good wife Carlie cooks up? Because I see she does a fair bit of cooking.
Yeah, she's a bloody gun cook, which I sort of landed on my feet there a bit. But yeah, she doesn't mind cooking the game stuff either. And so venison schnitzel's one of our just go-to staple feeds a week. You know, we want to have it once a week, once a fortnight, but the kids love it too. So it's just a winner. And I think if you've had good venison schnitzel, very hard to go past. And we often, if we shoot a young one, a young sambar or fallow, we'll do the crumb cutlets with it. If we cut up, you get the whole body out and cut it up. We've got a bandsaw out there at the farm and cut it into chops like you would a lamb. And I think you often, because you backstrap most of your deer or whatever, but if you can cut up the whole animal, it's next level. So
yeah.
So that's probably a couple of our favourites, and probably it's hard to bloody keep it down to one or two, but probably our homemade cabana, the cheesy venison cabana, hot out of the smoker. That is pretty hard to beat.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Hell.
Yeah,
That's very nice.
So it's next level, that stuff. So yeah, they're probably me. Yeah, but we do a lot of our own. We do our salami, obviously the big salami weekend. We do our cabana. We've done some hams and stuff like that, and sort of some smoked venison and salted venison stuff. So yeah, it's all sort of always chipping away at that sort of stuff.
What's the difference in how cabana's made over metwurst or salami?
Well, your cabana's great because it's so quick. Like you can basically push it into skins, cook it and smoke it that day, ready to go, ready to eat. That's the beauty of it. Do it in the morning, you're having a beer and eating it that night. So that's a winner. Whereas I'm not sure with your metwurst, but with your salamis and that, obviously, as you know, they're they're 8 weeks to 12 weeks wait. So, and then you're not sure how they're going to turn out really. Like it's just you're waiting for something, but and then you hear, oh, it's got black mold or it's got this mold on it, and then you Google and, oh, what's the green mold or what's the black mold, or someone's ringing you and asking, oh, my salami's got bloody this mold on it, So yeah, there's a few. It's with your salami, it's never as straightforward, I don't think.
I actually saw a post on Facebook. It was like a Hunting Australia post, and some guy did post that of his salami, and it had just like white, black, green mold on it, and just asking for everyone's opinion because he wasn't sure what was going on.
Just eat it, and if you don't die in 24 hours, you're good.
But you read the comments, and you're more confused afterwards because it's all sort of yes and no. It's good, it's not, and throw it out, or it's good to eat.
You give it to your grandma and see how she goes.
Yeah. Trial by
I was about to say Caleb's eating mouldy salami before. What's your take on this?
I don't know where you're going with that, Josh.
He's eating cheesy salami on that.
Anyway, back to the bandsaw. That's an absolute winner. It's definitely something we've been getting into. We've got a mate with one, and if in doubt, we get the Recipro out instead if we don't have access to the bandsaw, because it's just cutting up chops and ribs and having bone in, we've found is just amazing. You get so much more out of the deer, and the taste, I reckon, is different with bone in.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, so we grew up with our own lambs, our own beef. We'd often get a guy in to cut up the beef, but we'd always hang it at home. Grew up with pigs on the farm, so we'd do our own. I can remember as a kid, we'd do our own bacon. So we'd always have bacon, homemade bacon, which sometimes was that salty it'd nearly blow your head off. But you'll never forget the taste of homemade stuff like that. And then so we always had the bandsaw there. And when we started to shoot deer and the deer sort of come along, if we could shoot a deer and it was gettable, like if you could just drag it just to the paddock edge or whatever, if it was 50 yards in, take the whole thing, especially the yearlings, and bandsaw them up. And totally agree. It's just it's a whole different flavour, I think, to on the bone, definitely.
Yeah, I'm definitely convinced. See, that's the thing about South Australia is realistically, you can get the deer out whole every time here.
Yeah.
You can, no matter what size. Like, it is always possible.
Yeah, it's generally not 300 metres down the bottom of a gully.
Yeah, or 2Ks in as well. Yeah, so it's pretty easy. And since doing that, like cutting them up in a chops and things, I just haven't looked back. I'll do the hind legs in mince, but all the fronts, all chops. Definitely.
Yeah, you got to try those cutlets. Crumb them up.
Yeah, just breadcrumbs, a little bit of egg, flour, salt, pepper.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you do that, that's it. You leave them like that all the time.
Simple.
Do you guys still process your own pigs, like for the wild pigs?
Nah, that's nah. We only had the pigs on the farm that we sort of
Okay.
hand raised. If we caught a wild one, we'd throw in the pen, and if you got a few piglets, you'd throw them in there. They were pretty feral for a while. But yeah, they quieten down and fatten them up. But it's sort of, we haven't done that for a while now. But I sort of be good to get back into it, because there's nothing like having growing your own stuff, and especially when you got a bit of dirt, you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because me and my miss have been talking about growing our own veg, mainly because the latest thing that's come out in the news at the moment is they're thinking about putting, how do I put it, the vaccine into vegetables. So either sprayed, and people were starting to kick up in the States about spraying the veg with the vaccine. But now they're talking about genetically somehow putting the NRMA sort of vaccine into the plant itself. I don't know how true or how real it is, but it just makes you think. You're like, oh, okay, maybe we should start like hunting more, growing our own stuff, and not putting so much shit in our bodies. I only heard this like 2 days ago, man. I was like, I don't know if this is real or fake, but hey, it's going to come up in the podcast at some stage.
Yeah.
We've gone full tinfoil hat on you, Brad.
Got the bombshell there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just shows you can do it, and it is a better way. It's obviously a better way to live, I think. But yeah, it's a bit of an effort. But we grow a lot of our own stuff just because that's what we do. But still to buy a lot of stuff. But it depends how big you want to go with it, I suppose. And yeah, but we've put in a few gardens and hopefully going to expand those. So we've got a little bit of room here. We've got an acre here, so.
Oh, perfect. That's sweet.
Grow your own stuff, and I think once you start with your own meat and harvesting your own stuff from the bush, you're sort of not that interested in eating too much other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We sort of live a lot off. We've always got venison, always, and where our lambs are off the farm and our beef's often off the farm. So it sort of makes it. We hatch our own. Obviously, it's on our page as well. But we hatch our own chickens and muck around all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, we're well on our way. Well on our way.
That's it.
Sounds like life.
Yeah, the taste just doesn't compare either. Like with something you've grown on your own or hunted on your own, it's just, it doesn't compare with store-bought stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Plus you're controlling what's actually in it, like Josh is getting to, whether that's the vaccine or pesticides or someone spitting on it in Coles.
100% I used to spit on your burgers when I made them. Without a doubt, mate.
Trouble is, you grow your sweet corn, you put in 20 plants of sweet corn, you put in 6,000 litres of water, and you can buy it down at Woolies for about 60 cents for a whole pack. You think, what am I doing?
But it's more about the feel-good moment.
The hours of fun working the land.
Yeah, standing there with a hose and a beer.
It's quite the trade-off, hey? Like you're putting all these man hours in to grow something. I often think that when, like, I don't have a very big veggie patch in the backyard, but you put in all this effort and expense to grow like 3 cherry tomatoes, and you're like, bloody hell, was that worth it?
Have you ever thought of
it? Just something to do.
I think you might be doing it wrong,
Oh,
right?
mate, I hate gardening. I hate it.
Cherry tomatoes.
I hate gardening with a passion.
Oh, God.
Anyway, well, you did mention you were flipping burgers at one point, Josh, and Brad, that leads me to the next question, which was your first job. Well, what was your first job?
Well, I finished year 12, which was a miracle because I didn't really love school. But, And then I did a bit on the farm. I did a bit of rouseabout work, shearing sheds, bit of hay carting, and a bit of that hard work where you sweat a lot. And I thought, yeah, I don't know about this staying on the farm. So, and the farm was just not quite big enough to have us home. The money just wasn't there, and been through a few hard years with droughts and whatnot. So, and then I got a gig. A mate had his old man had a boiler making business, fabrication business. So they said, we're doing some work at the local timber mill, building kilns, installing kilns. So I did some work, just laboured for them, and then a job come up at the mill. They make chipboard. They make the chipboard and the timber, and they said, got an apprenticeship for a fitter has come up, which would be interesting going for it. And I thought, I never thought about being a fitter. And then, but we'd done plenty at school. We, went to the technical school, and we did, it was sort of hands on then. It was trade stuff. So I had done a bit of it, and then so ended up with the apprenticeship there, and that sort of led one thing to the other. Finished up there after 4 years and 1 day, and then went down to ADI, Australian Defence. So got a job there as a fitter down there, and we ran. Well, I've been there 25 years this year, and awesome. maintenance coordinator now.
Oh, good.
So went from packaging, which was 5.56 and 50 cal on the packaging line. So ran all those machines and did the maintenance on all those machines, and then it sort of branched out from there to doing site-wide maintenance on the high explosive side of it and all that. So so it's been a bit of a win to still be on the land. Well, you're still not far from home, and have a good job with manufacturing ammunition for your defence forces.
Can you ask them to start making primers for the civilian market, please? Sorry, I just think that one in there. What's it like with the HE sort of stuff, high explosive sort of stuff, working with that?
Yeah, we do. I think there's 26 fitters on site, but there's only really 3 of us work on the high explosive plant as such. So that's a bit of a niche market. There's not many people knocking you out of the way to work on that stuff. So that's it's interesting because you're informed of what this stuff can do. You know what it's capable of, and you're working with it, but you just got to be cautious with it. Like it's, you're told you can move that at a certain speed and it's fine, and there's heaps of precautions. Don't get me wrong. There's miles of paperwork, and there's people got to double and triple check and that. But at the end of the day, you're still working with it and on it. So it's interesting, and but you just got to always be on your game.
Mindful, yeah.
Yeah, I dare say it'd be quite easy to get complacent, like all things at work. So,
well, you do. They become like a 223 cartridge becomes like lollies, like but they do. It becomes just, you can throw them around, and it's easy to become complacent, and that's why there's so many precautions obviously there, but it is easy to become complacent, that's for sure, and that's why the safety's got to be there. But it's an eye opener, and there's always new stuff, and we started making boosters for Orica and that. So that's been interesting, and there's lots of new stuff on the go. So it's a very interesting job.
Boosters, you're just talking about like a rocket booster?
The one, so you see the big wall in the mines get blasted.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah, all for mining. Yeah.
Oh, nice. You didn't get discounts on ammo?
270 shells.
Yeah, you can keep it, mate. Little ADI will go on it.
No, I just thought I'd throw that in. I did listen to one the other day.
No 270s here.
No. Bloody hell.
But they make some big stuff. They've got some, we fill that. 500 and 2,000 pound bombs we fill there, and they do the grenades.
Mm-hmm.
The small arm stuff, which they've gone into the 5.56, obviously the 308 stuff now, the Outback ammo. So they manufacture the Outback ammo, which is really good stuff. So
yeah, it is really good stuff.
Yep. We're very familiar with that. We use a bit of it ourselves. Well, I certainly still do. Josh wants to reload, but
do you know if ADI are going to go into the 6.8, the 6.8, like follow the same road as the Americans?
Well, I have a bit of inside information on that, but I can't tell you.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
of course it can.
No, there has been some talk about it, and there has been some. So I'm not sure that it could be on the cards.
Yeah.
I
figured if the states will do it, we'll eventually do it, and ADI is obviously going to be the people that make it. So for us anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
I figured it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Now, Brad, we'll keep moving to the next question, which is, who inspires you the most?
Yeah, that was an interesting question, that, because obviously the wife will obviously want you to say your wife, but in the scheme of things, I think I was chatting about it, and I think the guys who value the traditional hunting and still go and hunt hard and do the hard yards, they're the guys that probably inspire me the most, really, and seeing how they do it and if they get the rewards or not. I think the days with the thermal and stuff coming in, and there's a lot of easier ways to do it now, and spotlighting sort of, and not saying I haven't knocked a few with the light either, but just to see those guys do the hard yards consistently and shoot a lot of deer, they pretty inspirational, I reckon.
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said for putting in the hard yards, and the reward for effort is there when you've done it in a more traditional method. Obviously, we've got high-powered rifles and pretty good binos and all that sort of stuff now, but there's definitely something to be said for putting in the walk and sitting glass and freezing your ass off.
Yeah, wasn't sure if you were referencing shooting deer on foot with a rifle or bow and arrow or a stone.
Yeah, I just think thermals have taken over, and I don't blame anyone. I'm not knocking it. I just think that there's some guys that I know that still just do it the old-fashioned way and do the art, do the miles, and I think and some of my mates have done that, and some of them have got the thermals and go down that path. And I think it's each to their own. But just as far as people that inspire you, I think those guys that really work hard and go into that country and do it tough and get the runs on the board are pretty cool.
Anyone sort of stick out as a favourite?
Yeah, not so much. I got a couple of mates who I did a lot initially. I did a bit of hunting initially back in the day with Noel O'Connor, who was fairly well-renowned sambar hunter, and back when it was pretty hard. And I just seen how good a hunters they actually are. Like, you hear about these guys and the Errol Masons and these guys and how good they are. But I actually hunted with Noel quite a few times, and I remember vividly tracking this, putting up a big stag in Jamison area, which is up above Mansfield there. And we tracked it for 5 hours, and I would have lost. And we caught up with it twice in that 5 hours and got a good enough look to see it, but not get a shot. And, these guys are next level as far as I'm concerned, because they just, not many other guys that I've hunted with could do that. Just track it, and you couldn't even see a track. I couldn't even see a track. I still probably couldn't do it, but they just next level. Those guys like that are just unbelievable.
I think that's definitely something when you can tell you're with someone who knows what they're doing is when they can predict where the deer are going to go, or they have the ability to track. Then you're with someone that's at the next level, because certainly all of us, there might be a few times you can sort of guess, but in general, once something's pissed off, you're just like, oh, we'll leave that one. I'll move on to the next one. But blokes are, like you just said, 5 hours tracking something.
It's crazy.
And coming across it a few times, that's just whole next level.
But they had to be that good, because there wasn't the numbers when they started back in the 70s or 80s. There wasn't the numbers of deer. So if they got on, they were happy to find a set of stag marks for the weekend. So if they found a set, it didn't matter if they were half a day old. They'd track them and that's why they become so good at it. Not like us these days, bumble around and you jump a deer and you go, it's gone now, we'll go get another one.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, I think the first sambar Josh and I shot was we were literally walking a track in the high country and came around the corner and was standing on the track in front of us.
Oh, it's perfect.
I mean, having said that, we did see the rub tree the day before and went back to the same spot and the tracks. Yeah. So we sort of knew it was in the area, but we didn't expect to walk around the corner and he was standing there looking at us.
Yeah. He probably didn't expect to see you clowns either.
It was we both were deer in headlights. It was like, all right.
Oh, dear. It's good stuff, though. Did you get up in the high country in the snow at all?
Nah, I don't like the snow.
I feel like there's a story behind that.
I've lived here all my life, and I think we went up the snow when we were kids and filled up our gumboots full of snow and big feet nearly froze off. I don't think I've been back to snow since. Talking to some of the boys, so going to get a bit of kit together and start doing a bit more of that high country stuff. I had a glass up there a couple of months ago with Maddie and a few of the boys, and we glassed the stag off the tops. But I haven't done much of it really. Yeah,
there's still certainly a lot of mystery about the snow for us. We've only done one snow trip, so there was a lot of this is snow, wow, and making snowballs and stuff, and then we're like, we're actually here to hunt.
Not snow bunnies, was it?
I think we tried everything you can do with snow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely an experience. I liked it, though, because the whole tracking side of things was a hell of a lot easier. I mean, fresh tracks before the next dump of snow, you're like, sick, it's fresh, let's go. Let's follow it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Keeps the beers cold as well.
It does. Just put them in the ice.
Yeah, put them nice on the side.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, the snow can be a bit dangerous. Brad, what's the most dangerous thing you've ever done?
Oh, well, probably work most days. Probably, I don't know. I've had a few moments. I had a hunt in I was up in Kakadu, actually, up out of Jabiru, and I had a fly around up there, and I ended up shooting a buffalo up there. Yeah, it was all going pretty cool. Got a pretty good shot on this buff, and I thought, I thought, he'd be dead, because they say give him half an hour just to chill out, whatever, let it sort itself out, and then thought, I don't have to give it that long. I'll just sneak in, have a bit of a look, and then all this, the grass got deeper and deeper where it went, and then I had all this. All I could hear is this rustling coming toward. All I could see is the grass moving, and this thing running flat out towards me. I just thought I was dead. I thought, this is it, game's over. So I was just stayed as calm as I possibly could, turned and just piss bolted flat out. Arse over head, got up, bloody running up, and then got a bit of high ground, and it ended up tipping over. It just bloody finished it off and whatever, but it wasn't travelling that well. But when you're in head high stuff and the grass is coming, you see it rustling towards you. That was my bloody pretty scary moment. That was.
I bet.
Bloody hell. What was it like butchering the buff and that after?
They're huge, man. They are the biggest thing. I don't know if you've ever stood beside them, but they are a big animal. It's a big job. You think, my knife's sharp, but you need, you've got to have some reasonable gear, because and they're just heavy. Everything about them's heavy. The head's heavy. The legs, everything's heavy.
Have you got the head? I know.
I've got the head at home. Yeah, it's a bloody ripper, actually. So, I must get it and put it. I've sort of had it just sitting there. I haven't mounted it as such, but just the skull, the skull itself. I didn't get a full mount or anything, but so I've got that sitting there. So it's another project.
Sweet. How long would people expect to butcher up a buff?
Oh, you want to and the other thing is the flies. You don't think of that, but you end up with 6,000 dunny budgies hanging on. So, you need, I don't know, it's right when you've got a guy with you that knows what he's doing. I suppose you get it squared away in an hour fairly well, but it was probably you want to allow a bit of time, a couple of hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an experience. So that was unbelievable up there. And also went for a fish up there, and guy said, there's big barren here, and there was a bit of sand left from the runoff, and he said, yeah, you're right there on the sand, but just keep your eye out in front for crocs. Oh yeah, no worries. And he goes, and keep an eye out from behind from the crocs as well. And then I got big slide marks going down both sides of me, and you're trying to stay calm, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like pretty, just different up there.
Did you get your meatery?
No, he got me though. It's about second cast, put the cast into this nice bloody big rock pool, and yeah, it's just grabbed it. He goes, there's a big one in there. It's just grabbed me lure, and he's just run about 20 yards of line and busted me off, and then he's tail walking, trying to spit me lure out still. You can still hear me lure shaking in his mouth. It was like he was sticking his finger up at me, just saying, you're hopeless, mate.
Shit. Yeah.
So that was me Kakadu experience, but that was unreal up there.
Did you go guided or just private? Probably.
I actually had a friend up there who was flying up there. So out of there, they were doing the burns and the culls. They're doing a lot of culling up there. So yeah, I was just fortunate enough to get a bit of a gig up there. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty unbelievable place. If you ever get a chance to fly it,
that's something we've always sort of wanted to do. At least go barra fishing for one, just going up there. So, but Buff would be a pretty cool experience.
Yeah,
if you walk out of it,
I feel like you got to be in the right mind for Buff. Like as he was just saying, it's a big animal, takes a long time, and if you've dropped it in a swamp, I'd be like,
just claim you can't find it.
The crocs might give you a hand to drag it out.
Yeah, true. Oh dear.
Very true.
So they're saying like, there's big slide marks going into the swamp, you know, where the Buff is, but should be right. If they probably won't come around if you made a bit of noise and that. Yeah, probably won't.
Can't guarantee it.
Yeah.
Probably, and then you're on the Adelaide River where they feed them from a boat, and they're so used to seeing humans and associating it with free food.
Yeah, and they feed them buffalo.
Yeah.
Now, Brad, you mentioned you did a bit of fishing up there, but I also noticed you do a fair bit of fly fishing. We've always wanted to talk to someone who fly fishes. What is all the fuss about, mate? Please enlighten us.
Yeah, well, I got sucked into that. That was just a bit later in life thing. But I had a mate who we had a little place here called Tattong. The Tattong pub's just famous here, and we're a part of the Tattong Anglers Club. So it's a good little club, and we did a lot of fishing through the club, and then my mate branched off into fly fishing, and we thought he was crazy. What are you doing this fly fishing for? Whizzing your line up in the air. Anyway, here I am now with all the fly fishing gear doing the same thing. But we had creeks at the farm, and we used to float crickets and grasshoppers just on a bare hook, and you'd have a trout take your fly, so take your crickets or whatever. So I understood trout and where they sat in the rivers and the smaller creeks and all that. But to go out on the bigger rivers with a fly rod, and once a trout takes your first fly off the top and you hook him, it's like you're hooked for life.
Yeah.
Like, don't do it unless you want to commit to this. Once you do it, yeah, I don't know. It sort of got me, and now wherever I go, I take the fly rod, and I suppose it's the same as sambar hunting with a bow. I got sucked into that as well, but I'm not doing it so much now. But the fly fishing is addictive once you get into it, and my mate ties all the flies, and we go away and you have a day out together, and it takes you to the best places we have. Like, it takes you up into the lovely rivers, and in the bush, and checking out a few rubs along the way of the rivers, and where a few deer across. Like, it's just and you can take the family away and camp and take the van. So it's a family thing to that extent. You can go away with the family up to above, we often go up above Kevington, Jamison area, set the van up. It's free camping. There's fire pits. Everyone's happy. The kids are playing. The missus knocking back a red wine, and you're out there with a fly rod having a fish. Like, it's great.
How good.
Very addictive. Very addictive.
I feel like you got to be or have some basic form of coordination before you take up fly fishing.
I'm assuming it takes some sort of patience to fly fish.
I wouldn't mind.
Well, yeah,
Give
you
it a
just
crack.
got to leave your. Yeah, that's right. I've had my moments, but because the worst thing is, like those wattle trees they seem to like when they're behind you, they seem to hang out over the river. I don't know. 'Cause you got that last bit, and you're just ready to launch your fly. That last cast, you've done the flash shit up in the air, and you're going to lay out a cast. It's like, oh, fucking wattle tree again.
Do you make your own? Do you make your own flies?
Yeah, so my mate makes he ties all the flies.
Yep.
So and that's his thing he does. So and then he's done really well with that too. Like he's in a couple of fly clubs and he's won a couple of competitions for his flies. So I know I'm using it. And he just goes, I've got a few here that didn't make me A grade. And I go, whatever, mate, just chuck them in my box. The trout's not going to care if it's won an award or not.
Is there much a selection of flies, like as in for lures, for example? Like, can you just go out and buy sort of whatever flies you want, or is there a limited sort of avenue?
No, it's pretty good. You can buy whatever you want, but the trick is knowing what to buy and when to use them. Mm-hmm. And that's been the trick. Like he goes, your mate goes, use that fly today. They've taken off stuff off the top. There'll be grasshoppers around or whatever. And then later season, you use your nymphs. So you can use your nymphs because they're the insect larvae under the rocks that float up to hatch. And that's what the trout are taking. So you catch a lot under the water, not off the top on these nymphs. So yes, it's amazing. There's just so much learning in just that alone.
Yeah.
So the nymph sits on the top of the water or below?
So the nymph sits below under the rocks.
Yeah.
And then when they hatch, they'll rise up through the water column, and that's when the trout do a lot of their feeding.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll drift the nymph under you can either use an indicator or a fly on top. So you can have a double, actually. You have your fly on top and your nymph on a little leader underneath the water.
I never knew that.
So it's pretty awesome, bloody little sport, that one.
Yeah, nice. Now we're talking your sort of dawn setup or all day or just depending on the weather. What's the go?
A lot of the insect hatches happen during the day, so it's pretty cruisy hours. Yeah, it's not like the deer hunting. You can sort of go at 10 till 2, or whenever you sort of get out of bed and have a bacon, eggs, and a couple of beers or whatever you like to have in the morning, and hit the river. But
where are you looking for on the river to fish though with a fly? Bends, slow point, fast points, banks. Like where are you wanting to fish?
Yeah, well, say our rivers here are maybe 20, they'd be probably 10 metres wide, a lot of them. So often those soft pockets in behind rocks where the fish do it easy, they sit in those, you'll see just a bit of a slow water behind a rock where they can just sit there and do it easy. So there you're probably target spots.
Okay.
The soft water more so, or the tail end of the runs. So,
okay.
Yeah, I think you boys should get into it.
I'm definitely willing to give it a crack, but I understand it's not just a try it once and you're good. So I dare say it's going to take a while. How long did it take you to sort of get the hang of it?
Yeah, it took me probably half a dozen trips just to get. And he makes pretty hard on you too. Like if you're shit, he just says you're shit. So, yeah, so
mates are full.
He just goes, "Nah, you're not doing that right. Or you're not doing that right." But probably half a dozen trips before I got okay at it, and then I started catching. I haven't caught anything. Oh, I did catch one big one actually. It was one of our first trips to near Thornton Eildon, near the Eildon Pondage there, and I caught a 7-pound rainbow first cast on the fly. So nice. I thought it was easy. Then I fished there for 3 days without catching a fish. But it was I didn't care by then.
It's beginner's luck.
It was one of those moments where I should have I caught it. We got the photos, and I should have just went and sat back in the car and packed up my stuff. But it's like shooting a big stag in the first 10 minutes, and then it gets hard. So.
Then you got to beat it too.
Yeah, then you got to try and beat it.
Do you ever switch out for a spinner or anything?
Very rarely. I don't really. I grew up with spinners and all that, and I've sort of, I don't know, it's just not my thing anymore.
Mhm.
I just don't really, I don't enjoy it so much
Mhm.
anymore. So I fish the lakes a lot for trout still. Like we fish Lake Eildon a lot here, the big lake, and yeah, we trawl there, trawl spinners and all that. I haven't done much fly fishing in the lakes, but that's something I'd like to do down the track. Just do a bit of, get a bigger fly rod and do some fly fishing in the lakes. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Can you fly fish for any other fish other than trout? Like, is that another target species that you'd sort of commonly go for?
Yeah, well, they fly fish now for Murray cod. They do a lot of native stuff. They drag these big, they strip back the big flies, cast hounds strip them back, so they sort of imitate a bait fish. And some of the guys are really good at it. Catch some big cod on the fly doing that. But I've caught a few redfin in the dams. That's pretty good fun on the fly. But
there's no cod left in Australia. Well, I've never seen one. They don't exist.
Probably not after the floods anyway.
Washed them all out to sea, did they?
Yeah.
No, they're all catching them upstream from us. We're on the arse end of the Murray.
Yeah. We get carp, we get the jabbies, and we do have one good thing here in South Australia. So where the Murray runs out, mulloway will spawn and sit and smash the carp when they open the barge. So we get a lot of mulloway. We do.
That's good fun.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Perfect mulloway to go. Yeah, a lot of people chase the mulloway. I think the fly fishing side of it is very close to the archery side. They're on about the same. That's the fishing. Fly fishing is sort of on the fishing side, and archery's on the hunting side, because once you're addicted to that, it's very hard to go back to a rifle, but I've managed to do that.
Good on you.
There's so many damn rabbit holes with hunting and fishing, isn't there? Or just outdoors in general.
Yeah, I think we just make it harder for ourselves for some reason.
Yeah, you've got to just keep leveling up, progress the way through. It's all good fun. At the end of the day, you get to see some beautiful places in Australia while you're doing it, and that's the main thing. You mentioned the van, Brad. So you guys got a bit of a caravan set up that you get around in?
Yeah, so we bought a little Jayco Eagle pop-up about 3 years ago. So we've done heaps of tripping around in that. We just had 3 months off last year, and we went up right up the east coast, fair way up into Queensland, and knocked around Bundaberg for a fair while, and then we went up a little bit higher than that, and then made our way back home. But yeah, it was great, just living that sort of beach life, and went fishing every couple of days, and every day fishing, and just took it easy, just chilled out. It was bloody lovely.
Any hunting on your trip?
No, I kept the feeler. You always keep the feelers out when you're a hunter, don't you? But yeah, nothing's sort of come about. But then and then down here we'll try and get the van out every month, every few weeks. We'll try and get out somewhere and go and stay, and because we're very fortunate here with the free camping. Like, we have some great places on all the rivers we can go and camp, and just free camp and stay. And they've all got the fire pits, and most of them have got drop toilets, and they're a good base camp for a hunt or a fish. So yeah, we're very fortunate here in Victoria still.
Yeah, 100%. That's something I've definitely found when I've gone over and just free camped in places. There's just so many spots. Everything over here, it's like $10-20 a night for like a patch of gravel. Like, it's terrible.
Not even. It's pretty choked up. Like, you go busy times and you won't even get a patch of gravel. You might get a patch of rubbish. That's left behind from a grommet, but that's about it.
Very true. Do you reckon you could do it if money wasn't an object, Brad? Do you reckon you could do it full time out on the road, just travel Australia?
I don't know. I think I do like a base. I do like to come home. I don't know if it's just from the farm or the hunting side of it, but I must admit I did slip into that retired life too well. Like, you get to lunch time and you go, I have a sanger for lunch. Yeah, you want a beer? Oh, I'll have a beer for lunch. Next minute, you're having your 2:30 nana nap, 15 minutes, feet up, and then you get up and get your second win. And go, have a few more beers, and then I'll go for a fish. And it was pretty cruisy.
Yeah.
I must admit, I loved it. But it was good to go, and we'll potentially do a lot more when the kids are a bit older. Like the girls are 7 and 9, so it's had family pretty late. But we all enjoy it, and it's good taking the girls away camping because they love it, and they get to see, you light a fire and they cook their marshmallows, and they, it's just a good thing for kids just to get them off their iPads, piss that off, and just get out and just do what kids used to do.
Mhm.
We try and really push that this is what we're doing. Don't worry about your iPads. Enjoy it. Get dirty. Bloody roll in the dirt. Whatever you want to do, but just get out in the countryside and enjoy yourselves.
100%.
So that's what we do.
Agreed. People should do more of it.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I just had this mental picture of rolling around in the mud. Oh, just get dirty. Oh, yeah. Just standing there and be like, yeah, all right, jump in.
Why not, man? It's fun getting muddy.
Don't worry, mate. They do. If there's any mud, they'll fucking roll it. They wallow in it.
Yeah, my two are the same. They're like, oh, Dad, can we jump in that puddle? I'm like, no. Like, get your gumboots on. And then they do it. But, yeah.
Oh,
Typical camp.
That's around here. Camping is fair
hell.
game. Do what you want. Get as muddy as you want. But around home, every puddle is, oh, Dad, can we jump on that one? No, leave it alone. We're going to get in the house.
They were a long haul coming, the girls. Like Evie is our oldest, and she was about 5 or 6 years in the making, Evie. So, we had a really long, hard road with looked like we weren't going to have any kids at all. So we went down that IVF path, and it was a pretty long, painful road. So. And then some days you got them and you go, holy shit, what have we got here?
We made this happen.
Yeah. Try too hard for this.
How much did this one cost us? And what grief she given us?
Now these two can understand that process pretty well.
Yeah.
I got my twin girls through IVF, and that was a long time as well in the making, and they're 7 now. So
Wow.
Yeah, it's very common these days, actually, the old IVF path. So, it's like you said, you really do appreciate having them, but then sometimes you sort of go, you cost me this much.
Yeah, and you think we were so stressed about having you kids, and what a long haul it was, and look at the grief.
No, it's all worth it.
No, it is. It's all worth it, and they're bloody, they keep you on your toes.
That's it.
I was about to say, I need to hear that because we're going through IVF at the moment, and it's nothing but like heartache and pain and long, lengthy process.
So there's more to come, Josh.
And
heartache and pain.
I did say to the missus, I'm like, if all goes well in like 12 months' time, we're going to be like, probably like, what have we done? Is it going to be the same?
Yeah, we had 12 pregnancies. Failed pregnancies. So we had so Carlie's pretty bloody strong lady, and we had it was a long, hard road, but there is light at the end of the tunnel for a lot, which is, if our story's anything to go by, you just got to keep your chin up and just keep punching with it. So, but
was both children as much effort to actually have, or was one easy than the other kind of thing? No,
Evie was our eldest was the battle, and then Gracie just bloody was like a miracle out of the clouds. Just bloody, it just sort of just worked out, and then we had to have some genetic testing done, and you sort of had 1 in 4 chance that she wasn't carrying the same gene that was causing all the dramas, and then she turned out that she was that 25% was all good, thumbs up, that she wasn't carrying that bad gene. So it was just a bloody blessing, really.
Sweet.
They were very lucky, but just never know what's around the corner, and just got to keep positive and keep punching, I suppose.
That's it. Sounds like quite the journey, but it definitely makes you appreciate it once it all sort of works out.
Boy next.
Yeah.
You can go round 3, have a boy.
Nah. No, I just got the little one. Just got a little camo set. She's coming out with Dad, doing a bit of hunting with Dad now, starting in the next. Well, yeah, from this winter sort of onwards. So we'll see how long that lasts. Anyway.
That's a question. What age did your dad get you into shooting? Like, your oldest is 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, has she hunt before she was 9, or?
Yeah, well, I my girls have done hardly any. Would have only fired air rifle at the moment, but I was probably carrying a 22 on my own when I was 9. You know, it's just a bit different. But obviously on the farm, yeah, but always had a slug gun in your mouth and a heap of slugs in your side of your mouth. You know, and you wonder why you got a bit of lead poisoning or your lead counts up a bit.
How's Carlie go? Having the girls get out?
Yeah, she's more than happy to take. Like, yeah, if she can ditch one of them for a couple of hours. She's really happy. So it's at the moment, but no, she's more than happy for it, and she knows how it all works. And she's been on a few hunts with me, and couple didn't turn out that well. Really, like she's probably happy to stay home after a couple of ones I took her on that turned out a bit pear-shaped, but took the wrong path home, took a shortcut that didn't turn out a shortcut, walking out in the dark. But, no, she's more than happy with it, and she understands how it all sort of works. So that always helps when you got a bit of support from the missus to, and more than happy for you to take them out for a hunt. I think it's great.
Definitely. It's always good passing on those skills to the next generation. That's what it's all about.
I'm waiting for you to take your girls out, actually.
Yeah, when's that coming?
Yeah.
Well, we
did actually make plans this weekend, but
you destroyed that.
No, he did.
How did I destroy that?
We were going to take him out spotlighting, but you had other things.
Oh, were we?
We were.
I remember that conversation.
Yeah, now you remember that conversation.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Whoops.
I've had them out. They've shot the air rifle on the 22 and they love that. So the thing with them is they're very much in love with animals. I've mentioned this on the podcast before. They're very empathetic when it comes to killing animals, but they've sort of turned that corner from now when they're about 5 was like, Dad, I'm never going hunting. And then the more they've seen me out doing it, the more they've sort of come around and gone, I can see why you do it and you keep it up and you're passionate about it. And they're keen. They want to get out there and do it now. So it's the right time. You just got to do it when your kid's ready. That's it. You can't force it upon them. Otherwise, you'll ruin the experience for them and they won't want to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, mine just said last week, Dad, I'm ready to go out. And I said, all right, let's go. So I think whack a big sambar leg over his shoulder.
Nice, very nice. All right, Brad, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Never sell your rabbit traps.
Okay.
No, that was Grandpa's old one. You couldn't believe people selling their rabbit traps back in the day. So I don't know, it's a bit strange, that one, but I suppose he grew up trucking rabbits, and that's how they ate, and that's how they bloody used to skin rabbits and sell the pelts. And you go to a clearance sale and you couldn't believe these blokes selling their rabbit traps.
Was he buying them all up or?
Yeah, he was buying them up. We've got about 500 old rabbit traps. It's not they use anymore. He's full of them. But we're always stirring Matty and the boys up with never sell your rabbit traps. It's a bit of a shed joke, that one. But probably a good piece of advice is nothing stays the same forever, I reckon. That's a few of the blokes have said that over the years. And, you get a hunting property and you think it's all sweet and you're going well, and then next minute things change. Someone else buys a property, or the next minute you're not on there anymore, and I probably got a bit complacent there. I had a really good property, and then, old bloke passed away, and then family took it over, and then that's it. No more hunting there. So, and then you haven't done your research on other properties, so they're all, it's just hard. Then it gets hard. So nothing stays the same forever. It's one I always remember.
Very true.
Yeah, I like it.
Like even more so over here where there's no public land. Like once you're onto a property and it's a good thing, you can't afford, like I said, to get complacent. Like as soon as it changes hand, you might not have an opportunity to get on there. Certainly one of our favourites has changed hands for us, and no more access. And that was like the land of milk and honey.
That was the Mecca. Yeah.
The Mecca. That was the word I was looking for, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh well, what do? You just have to try and maintain relationships and do the best you can, and
Yeah, that's all you can do.
and do the right thing. That's the other thing, especially these days. A lot of blokes out there not doing the right thing and
Makes it harder for us.
ruining it for everyone. Yeah, that's the worst.
But making the most of it as well when you got it. Well, like that's, I reckon, I don't know how many people I know that have private land access and they go out like once a year. You're like,
Yep.
bro, like, do you know how many people would die to have that access and be out there every month? Not necessarily to shoot something, but just to be out there, enjoy it, you know, get the fulfillment out of it. But I don't know, that's me.
It's funny too. You have a like I might have 5 or 6 spots I go religiously, but by the time you go to them 4 times a year or 5 times, your season's just about done. And you look back and you go, shit, I didn't go real good in that gully this year, and you've been there 4 times for an hour, 2 hour hunt. Like you're just not doing the time, I reckon, in those blocks, because those big deer you sort of just don't see that often. It's just not doing enough time.
So you're saying you got too much access?
Yeah.
So
I need you boys to come over.
yeah,
and
we'll take one or
around
two.
for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, done.
I'll save you a spot over here anyway.
Yeah, sweet. I'll take you up on that.
All right, I need someone to push a few around for me.
You've been hired as the pointer, Shannon. I don't realise this.
You guys can stay. I'll still do something.
That's another piece of good advice is always trust your dog, because I had a...
Just called Shannon a dog.
No, but
Sorry.
you can walk through the fixture if you want. But, I had a bloody Jack Russell and Foxy cross Jack Russell. I think they stooged me. He was meant to be a Jack Russell, and she a couple of times had looked over these little stood over this little escarpment looking down. I go, "What are you doing, you stupid dog?" You know, the deer are going that way, and then you've taken about 5 steps and look over, and there's this big stag run off. Yeah, oh man, how many times that's happened? A few times over the years.
Oh.
But,
Yeah, I remember you telling me about this dog at the Wild Deer Expo. Actually, there's a few people getting around with foxies. They must. I don't know. They're tenacious little bastards, aren't they?
Yeah. I've had labs and I've got, hang around the guys with the pointers and all that, and yeah, I just bag their pointers out all the time. But I reckon the little dogs are just good because they fit through a fence. You know, you leave from the farm, you jump a couple of fences. The dog fits through the fence for a start. You don't have to find a big hole. You don't have to chuck it over the fence. They don't leave a big turd on your lawn. This is serious stuff. All this is important. They in the bush, they're not puffing. I had Labradors and they'd be puffing. You couldn't hear anything yourself. So, there's a lot of advantages for a small dog. Like I don't think no one talks about it anymore because these English pointers and all that and Y-heads are the new thing. But I sort of disagree. Not disagree. It's each to their own. But I just think they get overlooked a lot. And I spoke to a couple of blokes at the Wild Deer Expo about it, and he goes, "Oh yeah, we're coming here looking, sort of talking about dogs." And I just give him my sort of 2-minute perspective on it, and he goes, "Geez, mate, you've really helped me with that. Oh, that's interesting." So I went home and bought a Jack Russell. but it's just my take on it, and I've seen a lot of dogs in the bush with guys like over the years, and yeah, there's some really good. They're only what you make of them.
Mm-hmm.
You can have whatever you want, but whatever breed you want, but they're only what you make of them. So that's another good one, I think.
The whole hunting with dogs is very foreign to us. Do you get around it yourself, or you just come across it a fair bit where you are?
The dog thing?
Yeah, hunting with dogs, like whether it's hound hunting or just pointing or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't done anything with the hound hunting side of it, but I've only seen them chasing them across our paddocks. But with the pointers, yeah, I've got a few mates with the English pointers and a couple of mates with the wire-heads. So, and one guy's a good hunter. He would have shot over 100 sambar stags himself. So yeah, and the dogs, yeah, but he took the dog every third day, every weekend, 2 days on the weekend, or like they did that. They do the time with the dogs. The dogs don't know any different.
Mm.
They become, like a cattle dog or a sheep dog or whatever. They've got to have that natural ability, but you have to work them and teach them. Yeah.
It's that whole other thing you got to worry about, I guess. That's what I can't imagine, is just having to worry about where they are, what they're doing, training them all that time. Where I'm at, I just want to get out there and hunt.
You'd probably be more successful, mate, if you had a dog.
Well, I can see the reason behind it. Like, they're a pretty useful tool in being able to find things, for sure.
Clearly a lot better than us. So.
I had a Labrador, and he'd be great for most of the day, and then he'd get really keen, and you think, right, the deer in the next gully, and he'd take off into the next gully, and the deer running everywhere before you even got there. And then I think, why did I just do like a 4-hour walk to get into position? And then a big fat lad decided to chase deer all over the countryside. Just pissed me off. So I don't know. It's not all roses with dogs, that's for sure.
Fair enough.
You hear all the fluffy stories, but it's not all. A lot of yelling and a lot of shock collars and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's it. You see all the success stories on social media, and people always tell the best yarns, but I would love to see what it's like day in, day out. There's probably a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, I seen one the other day chasing a sheep across a paddock, so I don't think it's all roses.
Yeah, that'll be one thing I'm worried about, is the dog getting in the wrong properties. That'd be sort of,
but that's because your dog has done that.
Oh no, a bit scarred from that one. But that's another story. But yeah,
trying to get access to a farmer's property, and then you look over and your dog's hot on the sheep. Not a good look.
No, definitely not.
So,
there you go. All right, well, you've owned some dogs by the sounds of it, but what is your most treasured possession, Brad?
My wife said make sure I mention her. So the family, but probably my friends, our close friends. We have a Thursday night every week here in the shed at home. We always have a shed night.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot a few deer in the shed and catch a few fish every Thursday night. And I think that's probably, your family and your friends are probably the most treasured possession, I suppose. Catching up and having a beer with like-minded people is pretty cool. And the people that have got your back through all the tough times, that's probably the go-to for me. We've tried to maintain our shed night for I think going on 15 years this year. So we have, and give or take, not every Thursday, but it's majority. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you might miss 2 or 3 a year, but not many. Yeah, so we've maintained that, and it's a good way to, when you have family and you just drift away from some of your friends, it was just a good way to keep everyone sort of together a bit, I suppose. So, so that's sort of worked for us.
Yeah, it's perfect. I like that, actually.
It is. I mean, that was sort of the origin story of our podcast, really, was an excuse to all get together and talk. And
I don't want to spend any more time with you.
Have a few beers and tell a few stories and just catch up. And it was, and especially as blokes, we're terrible at organising stuff. But if you've got something where, every Monday night or whenever it is, you're there by default, and then we sort of turned it into a podcast after a while, because we're just all sitting around talking, and it's the sort of discussions we want to have, like the chats you have when you're sitting around having a few beers around a campfire. They're some of the best moments in life, I reckon, just chewing the fat with people. Yeah,
they are, and a lot of Thursday nights there's someone, because it's Thursday, there's often someone with a Friday off, and they get a bit loose. There's usually someone that just wins the old shed night award, just overdoes it. It's good. It's good fun, and you just try and get, a couple of mates had these real secretive with their hunting spots and that still, and you get them real pissed behind the bar there and start to get a bit loose lips. We've got a few hunting spots out of that.
Yeah, weasel a few coordinates out.
Yeah.
That's the way. Now, are you a sort of a possession sort of a person, like physical possessions? If you got something that, if you had to, you go, I couldn't get rid of that, I could never sell that. Have you got a favourite? Like the families, feel good, and of course that's your family and friends are important, but what about a physical item? Yeah,
my old first slug gun. That's something I wouldn't ever sell.
Yeah.
So I got an old. You wouldn't have heard of them, but it's called a Sharp Innova is the brand,
Okay.
and they're a pump up air rifle, and mine was a 22, and it was they got the under pump on them, so it sort of clipped out and hinged at the front, but you could pump them up. They had a cylinder in them, so you could put in as many pumps as you could physically fit in, so you could get them stoked right up. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I've had that I reckon I had it when I was probably had it for 35 years, that thing. So, and it's still going today.
Yeah, wow.
Very nice.
And they stopped making them. Like, I don't know how long they made them for, but I looked them up. They made some pretty cool models, and they just stopped making them. But yeah, if I could get my hands on another one, I would.
How do they keep up with the sort of break action air rifles these days?
Yeah, well, the beauty of them was you didn't have to break the barrel, so they were very accurate. And yeah, just sort of, and they had, because you could put in as much power as you wanted. Obviously, if you put in too much, it would shoot high. You'd have to allow a little bit, but you could get them really stoked up. But then by the time you pumped it and you're going through 50 shots, you're rooted, you don't have to lay down. I shot hundreds of sparrows with that. Like, I always had a rifle in my hand as a kid. Just always had a rifle in my hand. And yeah, probably got banned a few times for, just shooting the globes out of shit, shooting the lights out of the old bedstead. But
yeah, shooting
that's what you do when you're a young bloke.
Well, that's it. Sounds like we've knocked off question 10. So that was your first firearm?
Yeah. So that was my first firearm. Yeah, I did use a couple of the old grandpa's things that I don't even know what they were, and they're wired up with a bit of old bloody fence and wire, and I don't know what they were. There was not even a model name on them. But, that was my first official one. Yeah. So.
Yep. What do you roll now for your go-to hunting rig?
No, I've had a Ruger 300 Win Mag for a long time, with a Hogue stock on it. I think the rubber stocks are pretty cool in the bush, but it's probably weighty enough. But yeah, and I've got it. You wouldn't believe it, like all the gear out there today, and I'm still running this old 3 to 9 Tasco on it. It's been there for, and it was one of the original Tascos that come out. They actually must have been all right back in the day, because I've dropped it and knocked it, and it still shoots zero.
Yeah.
But yeah, still running that. But I'm looking at doing some longer distance stuff, breaking that longer distance stuff. So yeah, I will roll that scope out in the next probably 12, 18 months. So.
Keep with the Ruger.
Yeah, I'll see how it goes. But yeah, we'll just see. I just bought some bloody Mavens at the show, 10x50, so that'll start the budget for a while. So yeah, the boys sucked me into them down there on the last 10 minutes of the day. So
yeah, we all had a look through them. They're not bad. Like nice clear glass on those Mavens.
Yeah, pretty stoked with how they're going. So yeah, get this. So the 300's been good, but I must say, I had to chip in near this. I used to use a 270.
Yeah, but then you learned the errors of your ways, and you went to a 300.
For years, I used a 270 for a while. Yeah, so I did a bit of sambar hunting with the old 270. So I just listened to your stuff the other day. I was pissing myself. I loved it.
That's good.
Look, I don't think we're as passionately against him as Nick is, but
No, I can't stand him. I'd never been a fan, but I don't know. It's just me.
The 300's a pretty good stick though. Like they've got a bit of punch, and I use the Remington 180 grain core locks, and I've used core locks for years, and all the chat about different bullets through the 30 years I've been hunting, or 35 years. It's interesting. It all sort of just goes in big cycles, but often comes back to the similar few rounds,
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of does the job for me, and you still got to hit them right. It doesn't matter what you use, you still got to hit them right. So
that's it. What do you use on the buff?
I actually used some of those. What were they? Winchester, big silver case Winchester Supremes on the buff. But yeah, if I'd be time again, I reckon I would have used core locks. You change it up because you think it's a big critter, but sambar are pretty big critters too. So
Yeah.
That's it.
and they with the mud on them and that. But yeah,
Because
seem to work.
you're thinking about doing a bit more long range stuff, would you consider reloading?
Maybe down the track. I'll see how sucked in I get to it. But I've got some guys that are really good with all that sort of side of it. So I think I'll just take their expert guidance on it all. But I'll get a scope and I'll get a decent scope and just see what sort of groups I can shoot at six. I'm happy to shoot at 600. If I can shoot a sambar at 500, 600, I'll be happy with that. I don't want to push it too much further than that. But I've just got a block at the moment that I'm seeing a lot of sambar at 500 at, but I can't really close the gap. And I thought it's just be perfect setup. It'd be perfect videoing, setup, and take that shot. But yeah, you want to be shooting a bloody good group at 500. If I can't do it, I'll look at doing some hand loading, tighten them up a bit. So,
570 is pretty easy to accomplish with factory ammo.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, fairly. I don't know what the REM core locks are like, but I reckon they'd do it.
We'll see.
You will indeed. All right, Brad. Well, let's flip this on its head a little bit. Something a bit different. What is your favourite movie?
Oh, I'm a bit of a sucker for the old Young Guns movies back in the day. Yeah, I do like the Young Guns 1 and 2. I have a few dark rums occasionally of a night. I might flick it on a Friday night, have a bit of a flick through the highlights.
Few dark rums. I honestly don't think I've seen them, eh?
Oh, you have to.
I don't think I've seen it either. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's completely wasted on us.
Yeah.
Young Guns.
Who's in it? When are we talking? What vintage are we talking here for those?
Oh,
movies?
back in the 80s, yeah. Back in the 80s. Yeah. Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez, and
Young Guns. Yes,
nah,
yes.
Still nothing.
No, Google it.
Still nothing.
Get it up. Yeah.
Check it out.
I've definitely seen the first one. Young Guns. I don't know, Josh. That is the worst attempt at Google I've ever seen. What are you doing?
He said young buns. He said
they're crackers though. They're pretty loose movies, but they're crackers. I do like them.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah.
Josh has got a picture up now. Young Guns.
Yeah,
I might have to check it out.
Yeah.
Definitely seen them.
Emilio. Yeah, fuck.
They definitely make different movies made different movies back then. Like, just comedies aren't the same these days. There's a lot of stuff you can't touch.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah, you got to be careful. So, unfortunately, a lot of that stuff's lost now. Like, you go back and watch it if it hasn't already been cancelled or taken off the streaming services.
We flicked on the Man from Snowy River movies the other day with the girls, and just because we said they were made in Mansfield here, and they couldn't believe it, and like that for their vintage back in the day, they still, pretty good flicks, all the local guys in them and stuff like that.
Oh, that's it. If you know the countryside, that's always good. I've watched some honestly terrible movies before, just because they were shot somewhere I'm familiar with. And you
McLeod's Daughters.
Yeah,
Say it like it
McLeod's
is.
Daughters.
You watched McLeod's Daughters, mate.
And
you went to Gawler.
Daughters, yeah.
it's Freeling, by the way.
No, I'm thinking of that Daniel Radcliffe movie. It was shot in SA. It was in something.
The African one?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, that was recently.
Yeah, that was a recent one.
12 months ago?
Yeah. And that was shot around Adelaide and then up north as well. And I watched that thinking, oh, yeah, I'll recognise a few places. I didn't think it was a great movie, but.
Also Tekken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few. Good old Australia. There's more and more being shot out here, actually. So,
yeah, pretty cool country.
It is indeed. All right, Brad, who should be a guest on this podcast? Recommend someone for us.
I reckon Maddie Wright.
we knew that was coming.
Actually, I've got a good one. My mate that I was saying, like he took on the hound hunters there the other year because he was doing a bit of hunting with the hound hunters. But then he said, "I'll shoot more deer stalking in a year than you guys will shoot up with the hounds." And he shot 98 for the year.
What?
He wanted to get 100, and I think he might have beat the hound hunters, but he nearly lost his. No, they got 101 because he would have got him, but he said he nearly lost his marriage. So
Priorities.
this guy here, and he'd be a cracker to talk to, and he's the one that we got all our recipes off. Got our recipes for all cabana and salami and sausages, and he was actually putting some of his recipes in the hunting mags there for a while. So, yeah, good dude, quite achiever. Yeah, interesting, very interesting.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Nice one.
Might get them both on.
Bloody hell, 98
Yeah.
gear just
Just
In a
can't.
year.
in 1 year.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Far out.
it's a lot. It's a good talking point, I reckon.
Yeah. You're a lot hard pressed to get 8.
Yeah.
That,
And that's between 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yep.
Bloody hell, that is a mammoth effort.
Yeah, so he's a good dude, and he's traveling at the moment, but yeah, his recipes are next level, and
Yeah.
yeah, we're very fortunate to hook up. He give us a cutout with a lot of the stuff we make, and it's been good, and I hunted a bit with him, and yeah, good dude.
Let's do it. Team up. And Team Matty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matty was a good chat.
Yeah.
Maybe entertaining. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Funny.
Yeah, he's a regular Thursday nighter, Matty, now since they've moved here. So yeah.
Is he the one that has Friday off every week?
Yeah, he was, but he's hooked up now. He's he's full-time plumbing, so he's back on the tools. It's good now. So I'll message him tomorrow when I got the day off when I'm in the bush, and I'll message him and see how he's going. He's been shitting me lately.
He'll be knee deep in shit somewhere.
Yeah. Loving it.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad, something we ask all our guests is there a dream hunt and location that you still want to do?
Yeah, I think New Zealand.
Mhm.
I'd love to hunt New Zealand, and I'd love to I'd love to shoot a good seeker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's me. That's where I'm at.
Yep.
I had a guy over there in the palm of my hand back here one shed night, and I let him go, and I didn't realise what I had sitting there. I found out this guy, he come round with the father-in-law, and I knew he had. The guy said, "Oh, he's done some hunting in New Zealand," not to realise that he had the Hossack station over in New Zealand. That was his station. That's
shit.
his lodge. So he's looking at my red deer thinking, "Oh, that's a cull head." To them, but yeah, but he was just chatting. He was asking all the questions, about the sambar and stuff, and yeah. But that's I'd love to go and hunt. I'd love just to go and have a look over there and have a bit of a look around. And that would be the dream for me.
Have you been anywhere else internationally to hunt or not?
No, I haven't. I've always sort of passion was a sambar, and then got into the archery and shot some sambar stags with a bow, and then shot some like a lot of fallow with a bow, and then sort of got the dog again, so back with the rifle. But that, not so much international stuff. So
I figure New Zealand's a good place to start to go international, especially for us. What, just over?
It's close
over the
enough,
water,
yeah.
and
Close
it's not
enough.
too expensive.
I was
$2
thinking
grand
more
will get you back.
Tasmania. It's a pretty good start.
Yeah, there's no snowy public land in
That is
Tassie.
nuts.
What?
And no bow hunting.
We'll be able to get some private over there. Probably more access to private property over there, or I do, than I do
Really?
here.
This is
in
news
SA.
to us, and you're just sharing this. Okay.
Also, not if we keep bagging Tasmania.
No.
I don't think pretty soon no one in WA is ever going to talk to us again. Well. All right. Well, I think it's probably about time we leave it there, Brad. But for anyone who wants to check out your metal art, how can they find you guys?
yeah, so we're on Fish Travel Feast Explore.
You almost said it.
See?
Yeah, so you got me going there. You got me going, Josh, with that one. You sort of stuck me into that. That's sort of now, that's going to stick, I hope. Oh, shit, the missus looking at me now.
Fish Travel Feast Explore. Yep. Check them out.
And yeah, we've got a full web page there with all our stuff on that. So it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, exactly. And great stuff too. So make sure you guys jump online and check out Brad and Carlie's metal art. It's great stuff. It looks good. be great on your wall at home, and maybe just ask for forgiveness after you've bought it, and worry about what the missus does.
Like me binoculars.
Exactly. All right. Well, Brad, we'll leave it there, mate. We've got to say a big thank you to you for giving up your time, and we'll let you get back to your family, mate. Cheers for being on.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
No dramas at all. Catch you later.
Gotcha. You make it awkward.
You're
You
awkward.
just make it always awkward. Fucking Asperger's with a pod for a podcast.
See you next week.
G'day, dude and dudettes. Josh here. Do you find it hard to keep your long, hard barrels free from gun STDs? Maybe you need a clean out of your bore. If this is you, jump on over to highcaliber.com.au and use the promo code SENDITMATE to receive a 10% discount on all your gun cleaning needs. And remember, it's sexy to support Australian-made products. Everyone here at Send It Mate uses High Caliber, and we can promise you that it'll keep your firearms free from those pesky gun STDs.